Yordi is going to share a little bit more about how to check core web vitals, and I'm going to let him jump right into it.
Okay, so for you guys, it's really cool to start out with web performance, and there's a lot of free tools on the internet you can use. Like, you don't have to jump for a paid tool immediately, because who likes paying for a tool? We have built a UX score checks, which is pretty cool. It also works with the PageSpeed Insights or the Crux API, the Chrome User Experience database. And this is basically a fancier tool, in my opinion, where you get a score, but then the score is based on your real audience. And then you can see how good your domain ranks amongst 10,070 people that also use this test. You can then see the scores right here for homepage, all pages, desktop, and all that stuff. But what Google also gave us this year is the Core Web Vitals historical data. So besides getting data as of today, like what I said you in the UX score, we can also see the data up to 6 months in the past. And then you can mature the performance process in your company a little bit more because, okay, at this point of time, the LCP became a little bit better than the weeks before. Why was this? The easiest way is to be on top of it all the time. But looking at this, you can see, okay, what's going on, what have we been doing, and where should we work at? Like when I see a high timed first byte, this will always be my first approach because a good times first byte will also impact the FCP and the LCP. Competitors, okay, chat, help me. Name some competitors we can enter here.
Yeah, so we can start with Salesforce. So Salesforce.com. You could do Monday.com claims to be a CRM.
Business.adobe.com. That's still, I don't know, WordPress. I have no clue. I'm just adding stuff. This is a good starting point. We've created this tool so you can easily share or look at your competitors' core vitals and compare them with your own. Unfortunately, Adobe is on top, even though their website is not really good. If we look at the FCP, we can see that their overall UX score is 73 compared to the other ones. You can see the IMP, but what I like to look at is like this little timeline. So you can then have visual of where you stand, and maybe the right side could indicate a finish line, for example. CLS, like all of them are actually in the green. FCP, only WordPress.
That slider is really awesome. That is really cool. I think one thing to point out, though, is all of them are failing on Core Web Vitals, and these are huge major brands. So just remember what you're working toward and what's important. Like Core Web Vitals are not the only metric that matter.
No, like they make billions of dollars. And I wouldn't argue that if their website was a little bit faster, it's not going to make a huge difference. It won't be trillions instead. But it's definitely for UX a good thing to point out. But nice said, Jennifer, it's like all of them are successive brands, which Room Vision is like a, I don't know, minuscule compared to them. And I think our website, I don't know how high we score.
Keep in mind, when you're looking at competitors, are you looking at people who are a similar size as you? And if you're going after somebody who's bigger, keep that in mind, that their efforts are different than yours, or they may not focus on it so much. So it doesn't have to be the driving force for what you're working towards.
Red Bull is on the track. I have no idea if they're like Formula One fans in the chat, but Red Bull, although not this season maybe, and I might be biased because Max Verstappen is Dutch, but they are not fastest on the web. McLaren is having major layout shifts, but yeah, overall they are averaging like 60 super max. Yeah, nice. I've also like other comparisons. Let's see. Booking sites. All of you can basically do this for free. Create an account at insights.roomvision. Again, it's completely free, so don't worry. You just register. So if you go to insights.roomvision, register, just going to create a dummy account. What do I say? And then I think you need to have a URL here. Then you have a Roomvision account, and then you have a domain as well. Yeah, this is all the thing you have to pay for. But if we go to competitors, you can add up to 5 competitors for free. So let's say if I zoho.com. Okay, there it is. This will be locked. So instead of having to enter it manually on the site every time you want to check it, you can just enter 5 domains on Roomvision. If you want to have a lot more or a bit more, I think I had it in the slide as well. You can reach out to me. I'm it's free data. It's the only thing that if I give you like 100 competitors, our server load might be screwed if the page has to load with 100 competitors. But the fun part with this is that since I added Soho today, it will keep track of the core web vitals as of today. Keep in mind that it's crux data. So if we are looking at the last bar, you don't know the most recent core web vitals data. And that is why people tend to use Rum instead, because you can then see real-time insights across all your templates. Even if it's not enough traffic, you can see why the LCP is high. So this is really good stuff. If you want to get started for free,
Yeah.
you
Does
can also.
anybody wanna share their website and we can run it? We'll compare you to HubSpot because we can just drop it in. Anybody wants to share? Okay, we've got one, two.
Com.
There you go. Awesome.
If it has enough data, okay. So we have a 0.11 CLS, and it needs to be below 0.10. So you might
Mhm.
work a little bit on your CLS and your LCP. Maybe we can look at it in a bit, actually. Also, another site to see.
Yeah. That would be cool to
Why?
see how you take this. Yeah, it looks like we got 2 more. It would be cool to see how you take these results and what you do as your first step. When you see that you're not meeting the threshold, what is the first thing that you do and how do you investigate that?
Okay, re-in-nation is the fastest, so congrats on that. Yeah, I always, if the client is using Run Vision, I start with that, but none of those are. So then I always start at looking at this data actually, because this is giving me an idea of where to look at. The sad part is that if it's a big website with a lot of different templates, it might become a little bit harder on where to focus. Let's look at Hager, for example. Sorry if I pronounce it wrong, by the way. Small plug, by the way, is I've built my own extension. So you can click on this icon, I've pinned it, and then it will retrieve the data of the site you're currently on. So that's really easy. So you can just audit every site on the go. But besides that, I really recommend you installing the Web Vitals extension, because this one allows you to log stuff in your console. And the cool thing is that if you enable console logging, it will basically show you all the metrics of the current load under my conditions. So I'm on a MacBook Air M3. If I toggle it to mobile size, it will also show that. And yeah, it doesn't come easier than this. What you then can do, for example, is open your console, refresh, and then you could see if there's stuff going on in the console based on the Web Vitals extension. I don't see a lot of stuff going on here. So then I often grab my performance or performance insights in DevTools. For CLS, I like to use network throttling. CPU throttling is not really necessary for this. And then I refresh the page. This can take a little bit, but let's see what happens. Clean my tabs in the meantime.
Diego is saying, I saw all the resources loading at the same time. No lazy load applied.
That could be the case. We can look at that. Why is this taking so long? Okay. Yeah, I think this is basically it. There's this text right here. Like we can all see it happen that it gets pushed down at this moment. And that might just be that part above it, like all this is reliant on JavaScript. So now my next step would be to press Command or Control Shift P and then type disable JavaScript. How do you pronounce it actually in English? In Dutch, it looks like JavaScript.
In English, JavaScript.
JavaScript. Okay. So all this content is being added later. Let's enable it again. Okay, so this is rather easy. It are a lot of elements, but you want to make sure that there's a minimal height, like just CSS class like min height applied to this so that the browser knows reserve space for all of it what's coming in. And then this will be in the correct place from the start. And you said I say all the resource loading at the same time, no lazy loading applied. Let's see. Okay, so I refresh the page and this is the first image. Yeah, so there's no lazy loading on it, but what you actually can do, so I'm going to type it in the chat, is add a fetch priority high. Are you guys familiar with this class? And then you can tell the browser that the priority of the image is high. It's pretty obvious. But images below the fold, like this one, is also not lazy loaded. So what Diego is saying is correct. Like you want to lazy load stuff below the fold so that you have more resources available in the browser for more important stuff. And the good thing is we have already native lazy loading. We used to use JavaScript libraries for this, but now it's a browser feature already. So it's really nice.
Awesome.
Look at
That was really cool. I hope that was helpful for everybody to see what that first step is when you get these results, and then how do you investigate it and figure out what the best way forward is.